Hello everybody, John, coming from the headquarters of Reflections of Our Life. Well, the front porch of our headquarters anyway. So what do I have for us today? I have a bike review, and let me turn you around and we'll see what we have. And as you can see, what we have today is a new bike from Nakto. I think it's a black one. And let's look at the box real quick, do an unboxing, but first let's look around and see what the condition of the box looks like after shipping. Of course, there's going to be some messes up on these little flaps. That's no big deal. No big deal. Got these nice handholds in the side where you can pick them up or slide them. We do have this one spot on the bottom corner, and it looks like it didn't really even push into the styrofoam that much. It just kind of ripped off the corner. Let's see, let's look around on this side. And I don't see any more damage. So, in my opinion, the shipping on this did very well. I've seen a lot of horror stories where half of the box was crushed in and all kinds of stuff. Looks like they did a good job. So let me put you on a stand over here and we will get to the unboxing. Alright, so the first thing we need is a good knife. Got these big straps. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like in the box. So we've got the handlebars laying in here. Don't see any damage whatsoever at this point. So I'll go ahead and remove the styrofoam, see if I can get the box cut open so that we can see it just a little bit better. So these are really good, little side cutters. A lot better than the knife, so that you don't slip. Start cutting some of the zip ties off. Well, let's see here. Alright, so we've got the seat down here. Got the charger cord. Move that to the side. Looks like some directions. Safety instructions for the charger and battery. Let's see. We've got the wheel, front wheel. Move that to the side. This is always the hard part's getting it out and getting it on the ground where you can deal with it. So your handlebars. Here we've got pedals and some tools. And cut these zip ties. Pretty nice. I like that. It's a kind of a flat black. Plastic fenders. That's okay. That'll help with weight reduction. So it looks like we've got to put the pedals on, the front tire, and the handlebars. And taking it out of the box was actually a lot quicker and easier than usual on some of the bikes that I've taken apart. Let's look at these tools real fast. What I'd like to do is try and put it together using the tools that come with it. So we've got the pedals. I think they're folding. I'm not sure why they just don't go ahead and put the pedals on and fold them up. Save us a little time, but that's okay. Let's see. And we got a little tool bag here. So I dropped a, looks like it's got an extra 30 amp breaker. I'm assuming that's for the charger. Nice to have though. And we've got a screwdriver, Phillips head. Got an Allen wrench and let's see, a 10 millimeter and a 13 millimeter wrench. Yeah, I think I'll tackle the handlebars first. And it takes the Allen wrench. So right away, I can see this is a lot different than the other bikes I have. The other ones, I have two other types of bikes. Both of them, all of them fold. This is a folder. The other ones have the really tall stem right here. This one is a shorter stem, and it's got a BMX style set of handlebars instead of the straight across kind. And these are kind of swept back a little bit, which might be a little better ergonomically for your hands. So let's, we're going to have to take this off. Okay. All right, we've got you down here a little bit better to be able to see. Alright, so let's take the handlebars. We've got this top plate off of the headset. Put these in. Put that on. Make sure the holes are lined up. And we'll screw these screws back in. Okay, got that on. So now what I'm going to do, I think, is try and flip this upside down and put the tire on. Alright, so we're back. Got the bike flipped up, got the tire out. So the brake is on this side. As you can see, the wheel has the rotor on this side, so we'll make sure we put the rotor on the side that has the brake. Oh, we'll need to unscrew these bolts so we'll have room to put the fork down in there. This other one's already unscrewed. Now we'll just set it down as gently as we can. And then we've got this brake here that we've got to slide the rotor down through so that it'll set all the way down in there. Alright, I think we've got it down in there. Alright, so we've got this little washer. There's a little hole, and we'll have to come back the other way around. Want to make sure that washer's in that little hole right there before we tighten that up. Okay, we'll do it that much, then we'll come around to the other side. Get that one in right. There we go, we put the pin right there in that little hole. And we've got the, here's what I was meaning, little slot between the brake and the brake, mechanical brake area. We've got the, make sure that we feed the rotor down in that little slit there. Alright. Okay. Alright, now we get the right wrench. And we'll start tightening the nut down. And these tires have a little spacer on the inside on both sides, and I'm hoping that's the right side, or right size, so that the tire will be right in the middle where it needs to be. Tighten these screws down. And again, I'm using the wrenches that come with the set, just to show you that no special tools are needed. Let's go the other way with it to tighten. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to flip it back over, and we'll put the front fender and the headlight on. Okay guys, I made my first blunder of the day. Probably first of many. So whenever I was putting the handlebars on, I put them on backwards, which made the tire look backwards, which made this go on backwards. I was wondering how this was going to support correctly, but I had this bar right here facing back here, and it just wasn't working out. So I figured out where I went wrong. I put the handlebars on backwards. I didn't spare you me going through there and fixing it, so I went ahead and fixed the handlebars, and now we're back to putting the fender back on. So you kind of have to feed it through backwards, it looks like. Somehow get this around the brake. There we go. And then this will end up supporting the top of it, which makes a whole lot more sense than the way I was doing it. Hey, I'm not an expert on this. So anyway, we'll take out the screw. We will put it through that little loop in the fender bracket, screw it back in. Okay, Then we'll do it to the other side. Unscrew a little screw right here. Put that loop right there. Put the screw right through it into the hole. Screw it back on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's supposed to be put on. Goodness sakes. Well, we finally got it. Alright, let me make sure this is tight. Alright, now, so we've got the headlight hanging down here. And I gotta figure this out. So, it looks to me like I need to take that screw out. And put the fender and this, line them up. A bigger wrench, and then we need to put that all together. Now we'll line these up. Now I'm not sure if the light goes before or after the fender. I don't guess it makes a lot of difference. And get the nut started back. There we go. And it's kind of a lock nut, so I should just be able to tighten it up from here. Yep, and it won't move. There we go. There we go. So now the fender's tight. That's tight. Of course, the light's not tight, so we'll need to tighten that down a bit. A little difficult to get in there at it, but I just need a socket. Although the other side feels like it might have a screw in, but it might be a little bit easier to get to. There we go. Looks like a pretty decent light on that. Alright. So here was the battery, as we saw a little bit earlier. Got the keys. They were zip tied up one with the other cords. This is the, got to have your key in for it to run, of course. It's right now, it's in locked, it won't come out. If you turn it up there and take the key out, then the battery will just slide right out, and you can take it inside and charge it. But when you're ready to ride, you put it there, it's off, and then the third switch there is on. It's got a little bit of charge. I probably should have charged it up before I started doing all this stuff, but it should have enough juice to do a trial run in just a minute. So right here is where you charge it. You could charge it in the bike or outside of the bike, whichever you want. Of course, during cold times, if you have it in the garage or something that's not heated, you'd want to pull this out and bring it indoors. I usually leave them in there most of the time. I'll charge them in the bike. Sometimes I'll pull them out, but sometimes no. Just depends on what I feel like. So the last thing that we need to do is put the pedals on, and let me get those out and we'll get to that. Okay, so we got the pedals out. I don't know if you can see this on the camera. but we've got a left, there's an L and an R. They're threaded, one of them's threaded backwards. We'll just take them and get it started. Let's see. Okay. So this one actually turns correctly. This one's turning to the right. As we know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Getting our wrench ready. So the left one actually screws left. It's backwards. And that has to do with the way the pedals move, I imagine. Since you're pedaling them this way, pedaling that direction will keep them tight, as opposed to the other direction. Now these pedals actually fold. Normally you kind of push in. There you go, and then they'll fold down, so you can fold them. There we go. Now we'll move on to the next thing. And what is the next thing, you ask? It's the seat. Alright, now, first impressions of the seat, once I put that down, I like it. That's a pretty good looking seat, guys. You can see that in the sun a little bit. It's kind of a leather. It's plastic or rubberized or something, but it looks nice, kind of like a leather look to it. It's actually got a couple little flanges here, holes in them. I guess you could probably hang a light or one of those little personalized license plate looking things or something on it. Anyway, let's put this down in here. And what you'll do with these, you kind of tighten them up a little bit by finger. And then to tighten it totally down, you just take this little thing and flip it. I could do a lot tighter than that. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. That's pretty good. Now, the nice thing about this seat is there's a button back here you push. The seat flips up and allows you to slide this battery out. Now I've got a rattan bike, and the battery's in the same spot. Every time I want to take the battery out, I've got to loosen this, take the whole seat stem and everything out, and then whenever I come back, I've got to set the height every time. And that's a little irritating. That's one reason why I leave the battery in the rattan a lot more. This one makes it nice to take the battery in and out. And you just push it right back on and there you go. Now it does not have a shock suspension seat. I don't know if they make shock suspension seats that have the tilt or not. But given a choice, I kind of like the tilt and just have a decent seat. Okay, so now we'll come up here to the computer. Again, we'll come down here, we'll make sure it's turned on. Now with the computer, you've got your power button. And there we go. We'll want to peel this off. Isn't that nice? Okay, So we've got one thing you want to make sure of. This little dot in the corner, that's your pedal assist. So if I was to hit the throttle, this bike has a throttle. If I was to hit the throttle, it'll take off. One thing that I suggest is before you get on a bike, hit your down arrow, make sure your pedal assist is totally off. You've got your power indicator. You can see the battery's charged pretty full. It's kind of working back and forth between the two. Here we've got your miles per hour and your odometer. Okay, let's see. Got your current. You hit it once and the headlight comes on. It's daylight out here. You can see it off the side of the house. And you hit your current button again and it'll go off. Okay, current button, there you can see your headlight icon. Hit it again, it'll go off. Now, one thing I've noticed, I'm going to have to look at the directions on here, but there's a way that you can read the current. There is a current button. If you press and hold it, it'll go into walk mode and it'll take off on you. You use that to go up if you're having to push your bike up a hill or something. The walk mode will make the bike run at just a couple miles an hour, so you're not really pushing, you're just balancing it and it's keeping up beside you. Let me see if I push it twice. No, we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, you got your S up and S down. That's your assist, your power assist. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different pedal assists up. And then to come down, of course, your lower power is at 1 and your highest power is at 5. You always want to start off real low, 1 or 2. Okay, and it's lit up, nice to read. I kind of like it over here on the handlebars. That leaves a lot of room here that you could put a phone mount and have your phone there. A lot of the, well, all the bikes that I have, the computer's right in the middle, takes up a lot of space. I kind of like it on that handlebar. It's pretty decent. I like that. One other thing this bike has that none of the other ones that I have is the horn. Nice little horn. Pretty cool. Alright, let's turn this off. You just press it and hold and it goes off by itself. Okay, so we've got a 6-speed Shimano gear changer, mechanical gears. Top button, you'll go down gears, 5/4. To go up, you press the bottom button. You'll go up 1 gear at a time. It goes 1 through 6. Your mechanical gears. You've got a throttle. Instead of, now all my other bikes have a twist throttle. This throttle is here on the handlebar with your thumb. I don't know, I haven't used a thumb throttle except on a quad. This one's real easy to hold. One thing on a quad, they're a little bit tight, and after holding it for so long your thumb gets tired. This one's pretty light. I mean, there's not much to hold in this one, so I don't see that as being any issue. But we'll see whenever we get out on the actual ride how that works. But pretty decent. I think I'll like that pretty well. We'll come back around here real quick. And alright, we'll come back around here. We'll come down and look. And we've got a 500 watt hub motor. I believe it says it peaks at 750 watts or so. Then we've got our Shimano tourney derailleur with our six cogs or 6 gears. Okay, the brakes are 160 millimeter rotors. I showed the brakes a little bit earlier. They're mechanical. I do need to adjust at least the one on the front a little bit. Tighten it up just a bit and get it to where it's not rubbing. But I tell you what, folks, that is a pretty good looking bike. Love the seat, love how that tips forward for you so you can get the battery in and out. I like the Nakto design on the bar. Two things that I really notice, actually three things I notice on this bike that I really like as opposed to the ones that I already have. Of course, it does have the 4-inch by 20-inch tire, the big fat tire on the front and back, 4-inch wide, 20 tall. It's got the fenders. These are plastic, which is good, reduces weight. I think the bike's weight is about 63 to 68 pounds, somewhere in there. It does have a nice heavy rack. This rack, I don't know if that's steel or aluminum. The website says this is a steel frame, so it is put together very well. I showed you earlier the pedals fold for whenever you want to fold the bike. Let's see. Again, we had the 4-inch by 20 tires, 160 millimeter rotors, mechanical brakes. Showed you the headlight, the horn. The thing that I really like about this bike is it's a low step through. Now, I've got some other bikes that are step through, and the step through on them is a little bit higher. With this one, I mean, that's about as low a step through as I've seen. And so for those of you that have trouble lifting your legs very high, that's going to be a pretty big selling point. I really like that. I also like the BMX looking handlebars with that big giant single stem that makes the front of the bike look strange. Coming at it from the front, it looks just like a BMX bike. I like those handlebars. I like how they're swept back a little bit. You can kind of see from the side, they're not just a straight handlebar like a lot of those that are on top of those big stock. Looks like bean stock parts there on the front. This is nice and short with a nice backflow handlebar, which feels like it's going to be a nice ergonomic touch. It also has the shock suspension. Now, this website says that it's 33% more travel than most of the competitors. I haven't measured it. I didn't see an actual measurement on there, but just by looking at it, I do believe that shock has more travel than, say, my Rattan does. So we'll see how that works when we get out on our bumpy streets. But yeah, I mean, that is a good looking bike. Real nice. I see they have the rims cut away. That's going to cut down some weight. There's little orange accents on the wheels inside. Pretty nice. I guess that's a liner there. Keep your inner tube from puncturing on the spokes where they go in. Nice touch. I like that a lot. Now, one thing this bike does not have is a rear light. A lot of people end up changing the lights on the back anyway, get flashing lights or just all kinds of different types of lights, so not a big deal. I don't really ride at night anyway. Most people don't, especially in my age bracket. We usually are out during the daytime. That headlight's nice to let people see you coming. I do go through a tunnel on our bike trails every now and then, so it's nice to have that light to turn on so you can see where you're going. So all in all, I really love the look of this bike. It's got the flat black paint. You can tell outside, I don't know. The plastic, because it's plastic, it looks flat black just like the bike, You can kind of see this right here is not flat black, so it's got a shine to it, whereas the rest of the bike is got that flat look. The handlebars are kind of a gloss as well. You can see that shine on them, whereas the bike doesn't. It's nice. I don't know, I like the flat black. Kind of reminds me of an old school chopper from back in the 60s or so. But really good looking bike. So what we'll do, I'll mess with the brake a little bit, get that thing going good, and we'll take it out for a little spin and see how we like it. If you're interested in this bike, look in the description. I've got a link to this particular bike. I also have a link to their overall website. There will also be a discount coupon or discount code. I believe it's Reflection 60. If you decide to go online and buy this bike or any of their other bikes on there, and they've got, I don't know, 6 or 8 different styles of bikes. They have cheaper bikes, they've got more expensive bikes. This one right here, I think the last time I looked, was $11.99. They've got another bike that's over $1,000. Still a good price point for this. But yeah, you can go in and get a $60 off discount for any purchase on their website. Doesn't have to be this model, it can be any of the other ones. But I'd appreciate it. Again, Nakto did send this bike, so I guess you could say this video is sponsored, but I'm giving you my honest opinion on the bike. By looking at it, getting it put together, I do have to say I had to put a little bit more together than I usually do. I actually had the handlebars on backwards. Didn't notice it until I started to put the fender on, and I had to take those off and put them back on the right way. So just make sure you're putting those on the right direction. The front wheel will spin around while you're messing with it, so just be careful that you're pointing it in the right direction. Other than that, again, I'm real pleased with it. I love the look of it. Can't wait to get out and ride. Next time you see me, we'll be out on the road riding this baby, and I'll give you my opinion on how I like it. Okay guys, we're out here. First impression with this bike after putting it together, I really haven't adjusted too much. I adjusted the brakes a little bit, but not totally. I still need to get a little bit more bite on the front brake, and probably tighten the back brake a little bit. But I wanted to get out here before it gets too late and try to let you know how it feels. So I'm going to take off in power assist number 5 and just use the throttle, and boy, that thing's got a punch. Boy, I tell you one thing, this is a 500 watt motor with 52 nanometers of torque, and I feel like it's got more than that because I have a 750 watt bike and it doesn't feel like it takes off quite as fast as this one does. A little beep. Alright, let me see again. Starting off. Now I don't have the seat and the handlebars adjusted to where I'm going to be riding with them. It's kind of hard for me to get the screen in the shot, but and I've only got about a little more than half a battery because I haven't charged it yet. I'm just wanted to make a quick ride, and I can, even on the little bumps that I've had so far, I can tell that suspension working on the front wheels, and it feels pretty good. Yeah, this thing, my goodness. This thing has got some pick up and go power now. And then you can beep at somebody if they're in your way. Let's see here. Let me come out this way. Yeah, this is a nice little hill here. I'm just using nothing but throttle. Now, up here's a pretty steep hill. I'm actually just barely showing half a battery. I'm going between. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like there's 6 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably 6 bars. And I'm somewhere around. Well, I'm at 5 now, but it kind of goes down. Of course, they all go down when you're going using your throttle. All right. Let's see if I can make it up. This hill is really steep, by the way. I always hate walking up this hill. We go on our walks. Keep in mind, everybody, I am 300 pounds. I'm down to about 8 miles an hour. And this bike will make it to the top of the hill. It might make it slow. I'm going about 6, but I'm not pedaling. I don't know if you can see my shadow, but I'm not pedaling whatsoever. And I'm steady at about 7 miles an hour now. And I don't know exactly what the degree in rise is on this road, but it's up there. I mean, it's steep. Like I said, it's the kind of hill that you don't want to walk up. I mean, it always wears me out whenever we're out on our walks. Let me go down. This thing, 500 watt motor, it brought me all the way up, and I'm 300 pounds. Just imagine if you're even close to less than that. I mean, I'm pretty sure this thing would just zip right up this hill with you. I'm very, very impressed. I can tell you right now, I've got the original electric that has the 500 watt motor, and I don't know if it'll take me up that hill without pedaling. I mean, it's a job for my 750 watt bike to take me up that hill without pedaling. That's a really steep hill. I mean, if you guys don't know, I'm from West Virginia. We have 2 types of roads, uphill and downhill. And it seems like we're going uphill most of the time. This whole street is a slight uphill. And I'm up to about 15 miles an hour and climbing. And I'll tell you what, this bike is no joke, folks. Okay, now let me see. I've been wanting to try something out, something new that I have. And keep in mind, I don't have the seat adjusted perfectly. I don't have the handlebars adjusted perfectly. What I need to do is put these handlebars out, maybe out to here, just roll them forward a bit. And the seat is on a rail, so I can slide it forward and backward, and it's kind of slid forward pretty far. I usually always slide my seats back, so to give me more stretch out room, because I'm close to 6 feet, around 6 feet tall, 300 pounds, bigger guy, so I need a little room. Everything's kind of in together right now, but even the way it's set up, and this seat, by the way, feels real comfortable, really comfortable. It's a lot wider than most bikes that you usually get out of the box, and it doesn't have springs on it, but it has those rubber cushions, and it's got a little bounce, along with these fat tires. Really makes it feel comfortable so far. Now hang on just 1 second and let me try something. All right, wanted to try out my new camera so you can kind of see what I look like on the bike. Hopefully this will work. If not, you won't be seeing that footage. But I'm gonna try it, see what happens. So yeah, this little bike is quick as can be. Tell you what, I'm really impressed with this thing. Yeah. All right, man, I tell you what, like I said before, I'm about as impressed with this bike as I've been with any bike I've tried, electric bike that is. These big fat tires, I mean, they feel real good. I really like these handlebars. I feel like, I hate to say it, well, I don't know if I should say I hate to say this, but I feel like turning in tight situations just like that, I almost feel like I've got a little bit more control with this type of handlebar. And again, this thing just flies. I'll have to do another video after this one, and we'll just take it out for a long ride, see how the battery holds up. Again, the battery on this thing is it's a 48 volt. I believe it's a 10 amp hour battery. So we'll have to see. I've got another bike that has a 10 amp hour battery, and with pedal assist, I was able to go at least 25 miles. That's about the longest ride I've taken. But even at my size, I've been able to go about, at least 25 miles on a 10 amp hour battery. And again, this thing is kind of blowing my socks off. I mean, I love the maneuverability of this thing. All of my bikes have these 4-inch wide big tires, and I really love them. I feel like a bigger person like myself, it just feels so much more supportive. This bike feels real nice and steady. I don't feel any, bad squeaks or any, I don't know. I don't feel anything bending. Now, I've had some conflicting information. I've seen a couple people that have had these bikes that say that the weight limit is somewhere around 240. But then on their website, I believe it says it's 300 pounds or something right around 300 pounds, which I'm 300 pounds and it's holding me just fine. So I don't think there's too much problem there. I've got to adjust the fender just a little bit, bend these, like I said, I've got a few little adjustments to make before we get out and ride it on big ride. But anyway, yeah, I'm really liking this. Pretty cool. Pretty cool bike, I must say. So, man, anybody looking for a big tire bike that has some power, I'd say this would be a real good place to start. Again, I really like the low step through on this for people that have issues rubbing or raising their legs. The big tires, the handlebars, it makes it just so that it feels really stable. The one thing that I would warn you against, or warn you on, is the pedal assist starts out real stiff. So start out on 1. I would recommend starting out on 1. 2 will get you going kind of fast. The first thing people do when they get on these things is they hit the gas or they turn the pedals to ride. The motor kicks in and it takes them by surprise and they kind of freeze up and don't know what to do. But what you need to do is just know anytime you hit the brakes, it'll cut the motor off. So just have your hands on the brakes whenever you start out. If you feel like you're getting out of control, just tap your brakes and the motor will stop pedaling. Push on the brake and you won't have any problems. But yeah, great bike. Love the little horn. Love the step through. I love that it folds. I'll show a little bit more about the folding and stuff on my next video with it probably. But anyway, I tell you what, I'm going to show you how it folds real quick. Hang on just 1 second. Let me get off the bike. Okay, real quick, I got off the bike. Let me just show you real quick how it folds for those of you that aren't familiar with folding bikes. Alright, so again, let me get a picture of it here in a nice light. That's a good looking bike. I like that. Really like it. So it folds down here in the bottom. All you have to do is pull that up, pull it over, And let's see if it'll go in half now. Now I've heard that there's a safety feature. Oh, you pull up on it. There we go. You pull up on it and then it'll fold. There you go. There you go. It'll fold up just like that. And it's got a little foot down here on the bottom that it'll sit on. But yeah, you can fold it right up like that and store it away. Again, the handlebars don't fold down like most because of the way it attaches. But if you need that extra space, you can always loosen the screws here on the head cassette here and just fold your handlebars down if you need to. But just like this, you know, would make it a good, you know, good for storage. And then we'll just bring it back. There we go. So I'll hop back on, and I really like the step through feature. That really works out well. Okay guys, it's probably about enough of an unboxing and review for today. So what I'll do, head back toward the house a little bit, but I don't know if you can pick up that little bit of a rattle. It's the front fender kind of dragging on the wheel a little bit. Like I said, I've got a couple little tweaks to make before I take it out on a long ride. But I just wanted to get out on it real quick this evening before it got too late. We're supposed to get rain the next few days, so I wanted to get this done. Because I've had this box sitting in my house for quite a while. And when I say quite a while, I mean, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. Been dying to open it. But I wanted to unbox it on camera, so had to wait for a day where it wasn't raining. And okay, I'm not pedaling at all. Let me see if I can get up this hill. It's pretty steep. I mean, this is crazy steep. And again, seems like no matter how steep the hills are, it'll slow down, but then it never really seems to get lower than about 6 miles an hour. So that's good to know. Alright guys. Anyway, had a good time on this thing. Really like it. Compared to some of my other bikes, it's right up there with them. There's quite a few things on this bike that I like better than my other bikes. I like the handlebars better. I like the step through area better. It seems like it has more pickup. I like the horn. The front light looks like it's going to be a pretty decent light. Yeah, just everything about it I like. The only thing it doesn't do, again, the handlebars don't fold, but I don't really see that as a huge deal, especially if you have a truck or an SUV. If you have a car, you may want to loosen the bolts and put the handlebars down, but other than that, this thing would be hard to beat, I'm telling you. If you're interested in, you know, finding out some more information on it or even purchasing this bike, you can go on the Nakto website. I've got a link in the description below the video. Also have a discount code, Reflection60. You can type that in when you check out, if you decide to buy one, and you'll get $60 off your purchase. They may end up having a special at times. I assume if they have a special, you can still get 60% off by using the discount code on top of that. Don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure, but I imagine you probably can. But anyway, again, really love this bike, and I would recommend this to anybody wanting to purchase a bike. Pretty affordable. All right, until next time, we'll get back out on our bikes and do our regular routine riding pretty soon, hopefully when the weather clears up. It's supposed to get some rain. But until next time, I hope you guys are enjoying your day like I did. God bless, and we'll see you on the next video.